What is happening? Welcome to Monday Night Live, ladies and gentlemen. The incredible Luke Hawkins. How are you?
I'm doing incredible.
Outstanding. Great to have you here. Drop in the comments. Let me know where you're tuning in from, guys. You know the drill. Who we got on the call? We got Lacey Saville. There we go. Ian's ready to party. That's the spirit. How you been, mate? Good?
Yeah, very well. Good. Yeah. Excited to do this. I've never done this with you before, so
you got a lot of hype to live up to.
I know.
Here we go. Chris Holland is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. All right, where do I start? I've got to introduce you now. Now, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you just a brief story. So I think it was 5 or 6 years ago. Forgive me if I get the timing wrong, but I was at Tony Robbins' event. I think it was Date with Destiny, and I met Luke. I believe you may have been there with. I think my dad was there as well. But and Luke was sleeping in his van at the time. He'd invested all of his money to be at the Tony Robbins event. And I imagine that this event would have had a lot to do with, the transformation that happened afterwards. But the next time I see him at a Tony Robbins event, Tony's got this like inner circle of like platinum partners, which, everybody wants to be members of, but it's invite only. And like once you add up all the travel, the costs and everything, it's about $100,000 per year to be a member. And Luke's down the front with his black bloody medallion on, member of platinum. I'm like, this is the guy that's I wonder if he's still sleeping in his van. And I followed him on Facebook, and like I was just seeing event after event packed out. Just to give you an idea, guys, here are some of the pictures I'd see popping up on my Facebook. So like, you fill out an event like this, like I would see that like maybe if that happened like once or twice a year, I'd be like, awesome. These pictures were popping up like every single week. And then I see ones like this. We're hiring, and it just goes on and on. I can show you heaps of them. But Luke's had the fastest growing coaching business in Australia over the past few years. And I know where he's come from. And so when people look at that, they're like, a lot of people will be like, wanker, like, look at this guy. And they would make all these excuses. But when I look at it, I'm like, fuck, what a psychological transformation this guy must have undergone. And I just know as well, like how much work you would have put in to make that happen. So tell us what happened after that Tony Robbins event?
Well, I remember actually turning up. There was a Unleash the Power Within. Was my first one was in 2014. I think it was in September. I remember driving there in my van. It was spent $1,000 this van, and I parked it. I parked it at Bondi Beach, and I bought it for surfing, and I bought it to sleep in. So when I went to events, I could sleep in it. Right. So I did that, and I had no confidence. I had very little belief in myself. But I remember them inviting. Tony goes, "Oh, go up to the back of the room. You can see and hear about our most exclusive program, Platinum Partners." And then I'm like, "Oh, what's this about?" Then I'm like, "Oh, I'll go check it out." And then I'm standing there at the back, and then they go, "Oh yeah, to join, it's $85K US." And when you $10K US per trip, there's 3 trips a year. And here I am sleeping in my van, and let's spend every last dollar on my ticket. And Tony says, "No excuses. You can find a way if you want something enough." And, I don't know about that. Like, that's a lot. And so, I remember going home that night, and actually people saying to me, like, "Look, like forget about it, mate. That's not."
So did you already signed anything, or it was just a goal at this point?
I was just listening to it. I thought about it though, and I thought one day I'll be there.
Yes.
One day I'll be there. And yes, so first year business, just working with people one-on-one for anxiety, quit smoking, depression, weight loss. Used to work with a lot of network marketers. And I remember making 60K in my first year, and then 100K in my second year, doing even more one-on-one. And then my third year, I don't know what happened, but it went to $1 million in the third year in income, in revenue.
Well, you're a coach that coaches. I'm sure you know what happened. What happened between 100K and when you went to the millions? If you had to put your figure on it, what was it?
In 1 year, by the way, it takes most people, it makes the average business 10 years to reach $1 million, right? And I think the percentages of businesses that, well, 50% of businesses are gone by year 1 and 80% by year 5. And the ones that are still around, like, I think less than 5% would ever get to $1 million. But
or even be profitable. Yeah.
Or even be profitable. Like, you know, so I think the difference to go from 100K to $1 million in a year for the audience here is, I know every dollar went into myself. Every dollar that I made went into transforming myself and into paying to learn the skills that would make me money, right? But I talk to people every day, and I say to people, like, if you learn these skills and you decide to go all in, you decide to give it your all, then you will succeed. But most people can't deal with the uncertainty. Their threshold for uncertainty is too low. They can't handle much uncertainty. So they don't take big enough risks. And I think that's a problem for most people. You do not take big enough risks. And, if you model and what somebody has done, Benice's here, if you model what somebody has done and just follow what they do, you can succeed. But, I went all in and I went one-to-many events is what scaled it, one-to-many.
Oh, I see. One-to-many. Now, because Tony Robbins events, it's fairly easy to get in the place of certainty. Like, you got the music on, everyone else is doing it. But when you're in the real world and things start to go wrong, like maybe you've taken a risk, maybe you've got no money coming in and you've got all this money coming out. Maybe all your friends and and I say maybe, it's like, it's actually like this. Friends and family are like concerned as hell. They're like, what are you doing, man? Like, I'm worried about you. Like, when that's all happening around you, all that external uncertainty, like, that's when people crack, isn't it? That's when the certainty levels drop. But your certainty levels seem to go up when the odds are stacked against you.
Yeah. So I noticed that. I thought, like, this is where people happens. Like, your disappointments. They're either going to drive you or they're going to drop you, right? And so when things are not going your way, every person that said no to me, every person that, when things weren't going my way, when I wasn't, moving forward, or I dropped money, lost money, clients saying no after no, after, like, prospects saying no, I always wanted to use every no or every disappointment as a reason to make me hungrier, as a reason to make me better, as a reason to give even more of who I am. But most people, when you get, when you're facing that uncertainty or things are not going your way, they pull back. And the universe is not teaching you to pull back. The universe is saying, use more of who you are. Then I'll give you something. But most people don't stay consistent long enough for the energy to come back around and be rewarded for what you do.
Yeah. So during that year of growth, what was the biggest challenge that you had to overcome?
I would say fear of public speaking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, I had a big. I remember I had one person in my event in January of 2016. And then I had 46 people in March of 2017, right? And so it's about that. And so, but yeah, I remember seeing 46 people there and I was shitting myself, I was absolutely shitting myself, right? But I just knew if your intention is to serve other people, I believe you always will be supported, always, right? But you thanks, Beck. It's good to see you on here as well. Basically, like, you whenever your intention is to serve something greater than yourself, you will always be supported. But you have to jump. You have to take the risk. You have to do things you're shit scared to do. I remember my first real estate talk where I'd not talked to anybody in an event space, and I had 50 real estate agents show up. This guy said, he's trained in how to master the mind. He's going to teach us how to master our mind. and I never spoke to anyone. I turned up to the event. He goes, "Oh, how you feeling, Luke?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good." And then I ran the event, and I got at the end. He goes, "Luke, you might want to wipe that texture off your face." I had texture all over me. I had texture on my shirt. To 50 real estates teaching how to master their mind, but I like to use the power of identity. When I had no money and I was breaking a board and I was sleeping in my van doing a coaching training, I told myself I'm $1 million coach. So you must have an empowering identity to produce the behaviors that you want. If you say I'm a shy person or I'm just starting out, I'm just I'm a new coach, that's bullshit. When you start getting trained, as soon as you start, hold the identity that this is who I am. Right? I'm $1 million coach, and that's how I saw myself. So I produced the behaviors consistent with that. And so I think that helped me a lot, is to have that empowering identity.
And when you talk about like that will to serve, because I can see it in you when you speak. I can see like that as soon as your mindset is in service, you completely forget about your own yourself and the way you look at stuff. But most people who have a desire to speak on stage in the first place, they just want to do it for attention, and so they're not very good at it. But like when you get out there to serve, that's when you forget about what you're actually doing.
Yeah. 100%. And I think people have got to come, like, one of the things I learned from about public speaking is you've got to stay, like, I've always stayed in my heart. I've always wanted to be someone that came from my heart, and your heart knows the answers. Your heart will deliver the truth through you always, I believe, and through something greater than yourself. You might call it God, the universe, your creator, whatever. But whenever you are coming from your heart, then the truth will always come out, and the best things will always come out. And yeah, I think that, like, I spoke to a lady today from, where was she from? She's from Tasmania. And she's like, "Oh yeah, I want to do this business." I said, "Well, you got to learn this skill. You got to learn sales. You got to learn social media. You got to learn all these things." She's like, "Oh, I didn't know that. I just thought the clients would show up." I'm like, "I don't know where you trained, but they ain't showing up." Like, I think for people watching this, like, the hardest thing generally is how to fill your events, how to fill your programs. Like, and you have to be I tell people, got to be a savage. You got to wake up. You got to stay focused. You got to stay driven. You got to keep high standards. You got to have a high pain threshold where, I took 35 to 40 calls last week, like from 7 a.m. till 10 at night, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, right? We did 6 sales. We do about 100 to 150K a month now. But, like, you're not going to get rewarded every day. You got to keep going no matter what.
Yeah. And now you've got like a team, to look after, and
people.
Are you doing these virtual events? I know, you've got a lot more overheads than when you started. But like where you came from, like when you started, like, and you started filling these rooms, and all of a sudden you got all these customers paying you money, different amounts, different times. You've just got all these new admins skills that you need to learn. You've obviously nailed marketing along the way somehow. I want to ask you about that as well. But so what did you do to keep up with, that growth and learn those skills so quickly?
Yeah, like I remember, things jumped when we had, we started averaging, I think from 2018, the middle of 2018, I started 2018, in the middle, we started averaging about 100 to 150 in the room. And I used to have 80% of the people pay for an 8K program. So it would be 500K to 900K in money come in over a 5-day period, right? Which is, you can't predict that, right? Like, this is what I was saying before, people got to stay consistent no matter what. But there was a lot of admin. I lost a lot of money. I've had all kinds of things. I've had employees, steal from me. I've had, I've had the wrong tax structure and lost money that way. I had, my bookkeeping was a total mess. I remember my taxes were, just all over the shop. I've actually just been audited, and now the ATO discovered that I overpaid tax, and now they're going to pay me, more money.
Wow.
like, which was a surprise. But
that's awesome.
I had no idea. You're going to make these mistakes, but I definitely, you got to learn these skills as you go, and find people that know what they're doing, and learn their systems and what,
you're definitely somebody that is is very good at what they do. You're good at changing lives, and no one will argue that. I mean, I don't just see these rooms full, by the way. Like, for the guys tuning in, like, a lot of people that I meet that have done Luke's training. Well, I mean, everyone that I've met that has done the training, like, when I ask them, like, how was it? Like, I mean, like, there's all kinds of people go, oh yeah, things are good, like, whatever. But they've all said either like, oh my God, it changed my life. Some of them start like crying. Like, the emotional response is like, fuck, I don't know what this guy's doing in his bloody rooms. But obviously it's having a big impact. But yeah, like, you're somebody that would have had to draw on resources from all different directions to fulfill all the other responsibilities that come with growing a business. You've been extremely resourceful. Yeah, I'm just amazed. I think it's awesome. Yeah.
So I think with the challenges, I think that the audience will be served by this, and I want to share this, is that, so when the challenges come up, right, and something happens, you lose an employee, you realize that you hadn't made sales for a week, and it's dropped, right? What else might happen? Like, you get a big tax bill out of nowhere, or your Facebook ad account gets shut down. Like, I've had all these things, right? But what you've got to do is ask, like, what is positive about this? What is good about this? What is this teaching me that if it hadn't have happened, I wouldn't have learned this? And you'll see that it's actually happening for you, and it's probably saving you from a bigger problem down the track. Like, I know when I had problems at 50 clients or 100 clients, I'm so glad this didn't happen, when now I've trained 1,600 people how to become a coach, and we're over 100 people now that are doing 6 figures a year as a coach or a consultant. I'm so glad that I learned, I had made these mistakes. You'll see, you're so glad the mistakes happen now, than down the track when it's bigger, because it will cost you a lot more usually. So always find what's positive in every situation, what's benefit about it, what's good about it. And if you stay and you find the lesson quickly, then you'll move forward. But I think the mind enjoys pain for most people. And so they sit in it, and it's comfortable, and they actually like it. They enjoy it, and and it meets certain needs. So I think you've got to get out of it. Yeah.
Did you ever encounter like what they call imposter syndrome? Did you ever reach a point where you're like, who am I to be, like, this is something that comes up a lot, by the way, with coaches, I imagine, but with small business owners, like, they reach a point where they're like, they're not actually comfortable charging that much, or they don't think they deserve to be speaking to that, an audience that size, and so they hold themselves back. Did you encounter that?
Oh yeah, 100%. I remember starting out coaching real estate agents. I was coaching them how to make more sales and make money, and I had none. Right? I was walking in the door saying, yeah, I can show you how to make lots of money, and I'd just starting out, zero in my account, right? So I think what really people can do to overcome that is, like, stop using past success or what you've achieved in the past to give you certainty. If you don't have any past success, then don't look that way to try to give yourself certainty. You're not going to find it in your past. And I think this is where imposter syndrome comes back. They go, I haven't done it in the past, so how could I do it now? Or how could I ask this from the world now? So stop looking to your past. You're not going to find it, right? So the way I built certainty to get beyond that is, I said, what I create tomorrow or what I create in the future is based on who I say I am now. It's based on who I say I am today, right? And I don't need an external result to give me a belief system or to give me an identity that I can help people, that I can charge or whatever. I just made a fucking decision. And I said, this is who I am. I'm here to serve people. I will find the way. I will make the way. And, and I just decided that, this is who I am now. I'm a world-class coach today. I will serve this person. I will do whatever it takes to get this person the result. And And so when I use that language, like I am ... like whatever comes after I am ... becomes your future, right? If I don't, if that is the most powerful thing, like I am ... and it's all made up. You don't need outside results to give yourself that certainty.
Yeah, and and it sounds like you've got your certainty from within, but and you've also you've invested a lot in yourself. But how conscious are you of, or have you been along your journey about who you spend your time with, and being around naysayers and stuff like that? Does it concern you at all, or?
Oh, I've been through heaps, man. But I just wanted to say something before, that the certainty comes from focusing on what you want. Right? If you're taking notes, write that down. Right? Imposter syndrome, you start focusing on what you don't want, then it gives you an emotional state that gives you uncertainty, and you do not take action from that place.
Exactly. Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
What you don't want is the strategy to crash your car into a brick wall. If you're driving round the bend and you start to slide out, if you focus on the wall, you're definitely going to hit the wall. But you've got to stay focused on the road where you're going, especially when you're sliding out in your business. So, doubt or whatever form of doubt you call it, or uncertainty, you call it imposter syndrome, whatever you call it, it all comes from focusing what you don't want. So you must train yourself to focus on what you want, right? So, and that's why I do that, by repeating powerful things to myself with emotion. Right? Jumping up and down, on a trampoline, repeating things so strongly to myself. Conor McGregor says this. He says, like, I'm the fucking best in the world. Like, before he was that is the trait, right? But when it comes to judgment from other people, I think you've got to ask yourself this, like, this is what helps me. Most people, right, are judging themselves all day, right? All day, to the point that they do not feel good or like themselves. So if I don't feel good about myself, of course I'm going to project my judgments onto you, because how else am I going to escape these feelings? Because it's triggering so much pain in me of all the self-judgment that I put on myself, so they project it out, right? But and whatever we don't accept in ourselves, we judge in another. So people will throw those judgments on you. It's actually them. If they say, oh, you're money hungry, or you're just in it for the sales, or you just want to take from me, these are all the things that gets projected out. I'm like, I don't know, that's not true, because there's actually a lot of easier ways that I could make money, right? Real estate being one. This is not an easy game for a coaching consultant business. We give 10% of all our profits to Operation Underground Railroad, right? That's one thing that, helped get me out of scarcity. But, I think just knowing most people don't like themselves. So I just, I let go of those judgments from them. I don't let them define me. I define myself. They don't like themselves. So why the fuck would I care if they like me or accept me? They don't accept themselves. How could they accept another or even like another? They're not going to like you. They don't like themselves. That's 99% of the population.
And you're speaking to them all the time, aren't you? Because these are the guys you need to come to your events, right?
Yeah, I had an event of self-transformation before. Like, people that just, like the conditioning, but that's why you must keep going, because look at the pain these people, and I use that to drive me. I need to help people that are open-minded, that want to deal with this stuff in a different way. That's driving.
So when you're on a sales call, and I don't know if you you might not have this problem anymore, because you've got a brand now, but like I imagine at the start, when people are throwing these objections at you, like you just said, you just want money or whatever, would that motivate you more to get the sale?
Yeah, I'm just like, gosh, like, number one, you think that money is negative or bad, right? Which is 100% conditioned, because money is just energy that you receive in exchange for the value you add to other people's lives. So I would write that down for people as well. Money is just an energy you receive in exchange for adding value to other people's lives. So when I used to clean toilets at Hayman Island in the Whit Sundays, I got paid $9 an hour for that. It was $9 or $10 an hour, right? Is what I got for that. And that was the value I could add to other people's lives. I could clean toilets, right? Now, people one-on-one, I just had an 8-figure e-commerce guy. A lot of people might know if I said his name, but he wants to keep private, right? He paid me $2,000 an hour for my time, right? But, you are paid in proportion to that. And it's just energy. And so, you know, you've got to ask people to work with you, like this thing that they will project their judgments on you. Just know that that's them, that's not you. If you know why you're doing it to help people, right? Then that's all.
What's the number one or the biggest obstacle that coaches that face when they're, you know, like in that sort of between 100 grand to, or I don't know, maybe even 50 grand to $1 million, like in that range? Like, what's the number one thing that they have to overcome generally? What's the number one thing holding them back?
Well, I think I'll start more with the under 100K a year, because I think most coaches are definitely that, right?
Oh, they okay.
Large majority, right? So I think to break that, you are going to work your ass off, and you're not going to see any rewards, generally for a good couple of years out if you're super consistent. You know, I met one lady, got one paid client in 10 years. I'm like, oh my God. Right.
Whoa.
But yeah, she's still going, and then realized.
Is she still going? Wow.
Yeah. Then she made the decision yesterday. She's like, I'm not going to do this business anymore. It was this morning. I'm not going to do this business anymore because I don't want to learn how to generate leads on social media. And I said, well, you know, there's your answers. You know, stop. You know, but that's what you want to do. But yeah, I think that you have to condition yourself to be in a state of certainty, and you have to want it enough. This is probably for all coaches here, really. Yeah, you have to want it enough. So more than, you know, going out and partying on the weekends, more than booking holidays, you know, more than, oh gosh, I don't know, like all this scrolling on social media, Netflix, whatever. Like, I worked my ass off before I saw any real, you know, return. And so you got to make the sacrifice. You got to want it enough, you know. I think that's.
But it's one thing to want to sit on the beach all day because you're a successful coach. But there's another thing to have a why that's bigger than yourself, isn't it? So wanting it enough comes from the why, surely.
Yeah. So I think that, right. But one empowering question that really helped me is, what have I not been willing to do to get to where I want to be? What have I not been willing to do to get to where I want to be? And every person I ask that question, they can give me a list. They can say, not make enough calls, not do enough posts, not reach out to enough people, right? And so I have this on my phone as a screensaver, right? And I say, if I had to make X amount of dollars in my business and my life depended on it, what would you do? So for some people, if you had to make 5K a month and your life depended on it, what would you do? If you had to make 10K a month, if you had to make 50K a month, if you had to make 100K a month, whatever it is, what would you be willing to do? And I think people would come up with some real empowering answers for that. Right?
But would they be prepared to do it? I mean, that comes down to whether they want it enough. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the brain has a need to avoid pain and gain pleasure. So, you know, you got to think of what are the consequences long-term for you if you don't change. What is it going to cost you in your finances and your health and your body and your contributions to charity and your family life? You know, I don't want to put my kids, you know, this is real transparent now. I don't want to raise my kids in, in formal schooling, ideally. You know, I would love for them to be homeschooled, you know. The extraordinary, you know, it's not everyone can do that. It's an ideal thing. You know, I'd prefer me to raise my kids than the government. But you know, you've got to think of all these things. Yeah.
So what's next, Luke? What are your goals from here?
Well, basically, we've got about 100 coming to so far to our business boot camp, 7-figure academy. For coaches who want to go to 50K per month in 4 months or less. We've got about 100 so far. We want to get 150 there. Is our goal. And so that's a goal there. Yeah, we'd love to break the 200 people in events, and I'd also like to give more to charity than I ever have before.
So talk about this charity that you support. You're welcome to share what they do with everyone.
Yeah, so I support a charity. The main one we support is Operation Underground Railroad, and that organization is about freeing young girls and boys from sex slavery, sex trafficking. Right. So they found in third world countries and developing countries that there's actually some of the parents, they pimp their kids out to sexual predators for money, because they struggle to survive, right? But also, kids are just taken, abducted by these, sick people, right? These sick Western men. So I do that. And, I learned this actually, where someone said to me that if you decide to give to something outside of yourself, like, and you systemize it, like I decided to give 10% of our profits. Like if you do it and you systemize it, then it teaches your brain that there is more than enough, right? It teaches your brain there's more enough. If you only make 100 grand, give a small amount. I give small percentage, right? But if you can't give $1 out of, $10, like out of $100, you're not going to give, 1,000. You're not going to give 10,000 out of $1 million or whatever, And so that drives me, to give to those that can't give to themselves. Yeah.
So yeah, that's interesting. You're sending messages to your brain that there's more than enough consistently.
Than enough. We don't.
Whereas if you don't contribute,
if we don't give, then we teach our brain. If we don't give because of a place of fear, we teach our brain there's not enough.
Yeah. Fuck, that's huge. Yeah.
It's pretty big. I sat in the wealth trip with Tony with that.
Yeah.
Learning from billionaires. I learned that.
Wow. Yeah. And it's just as important when you don't make millions to do it, isn't it? Probably more important.
100%. It will teach your brain there's more than enough. You go on the sales call, you're so much more congruent. They say to you, I don't have the money. You can say, look, I'm all in. I got no other way. And I'm giving money to charity, trying to support somebody else. Like there's no excuse. Like you've just told yourself there's not enough. Like, two questions people ask that I think define people's financial future is, one is like, I can't do it. I can't find the way when they see an opportunity. The other one, Robert Kiyosaki said this, is not how can't I, but how can I? How can I do this? If you say, how can I, you will find a way for anything.
Yeah. And if you're in a place of abundance, well, at least if you know you've physically seen the evidence that you can give, right? Which means you're telling your brain there is enough, even if the external circumstances show you that there isn't just yet. But if you're telling your brain that there is enough, then fuck, I lost my train of thought there. So
you can teach your brain that there's more than enough just by doing the act, right? You're giving yourself, strengthening the belief in yourself. You're strengthening the trust in yourself. You're strengthening everything that's great about the human spirit that has to trust in the unknown is being strengthened inside of you. And I believe
then you think to yourself, because you've seen the evidence that you're wealthy. You're wealthy.
Wealth. Wealth is not an external circumstance. It's an internal trust and faith and knowing that you're always going to be supported. That is wealth.
And then the external world has a way of meeting the internal.
Match with that. It's going to match with your internal, right? But not until you start using more of those resources inside of you, right?
I feel like this will be a good time for me to sorry, I feel like I'm interrupting you now. This would be a good time for me to tell everyone here we go.
Hey,
hello.
there you go. Get on that.
Please support my sleep out, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go.
I'm going to be homeless this winter for a night. Jot that down. Support my sleep out, supporting the homeless. I don't know, 6 years in a row, sleeping out in the street, because I nearly was homeless when I started my business. We've all got our stories. I think that these challenges build fucking incredible entrepreneurs. I don't, these. You start a business with when you're fully financially supported. As soon as things start to go wrong, you're only answer is going to be to fucking get another investor, to sell equity, that, you know.
I found successful people, it's never ever to do with their past. It's never ever to do, you know, it's very rarely that's ever to do with the amount of money in their account. It's very rarely it's ever to do with the number of kids they have or their partner. It's nothing to do with their external circumstances. And it's everything to do with, are they willing to back themselves? Are they willing to jump, right? If you're not willing to jump, then you'll never see your potential. You got to put yourself in a position where you're forced to use it for most people, you know?
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about the marketing side of things. Like, obviously going from one-to-one, you know, one-to-one, I could imagine, like, you know, getting on the phone, you can, you know, fill your calendar with a bit of effort. But going one-to-many, you know, then you need to incorporate marketing. I know you've been very active on Facebook. Did you find a formula that works well, or did you just literally hit it from all angles?
Well, yeah, well, I believe people should add platforms in stages, right? Is my belief, based on what's going to give them the highest ROI, return on their time, energy, and money, right? Just add. People get overwhelmed because they try to do everything at once, right? So I believe adding platform by platform. So I started with Facebook. I got really strong with Facebook and getting, you know, lots of likes and followers on there and engagement, you know.
Facebook ads from the start?
No, organic. Facebook organic.
Wow.
And a group. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So listen up, mother cluckers. Like all you people that say Facebook organic is dead.
Oh, mate.
Is it? Is it, Luke?
No, we do about 20 to 50K every month just from Facebook organic.
I knew it. Everyone says the organic doesn't work anymore when the algorithm gets smarter and they're not good enough anymore. They just want to blame.
More creative. Most people in their marketing, they're too what do you call it? Bland, as in they're trying to do what everyone else does. They're doing the same thing as everyone else. When people used to sign up, when people signed my courses, you know, I'm in a different stage of business now, but when I was, you know, earlier on, I used to dress up as things. I used to dress up as like a banana or as a whoopee cushion or as Superman. Like, and
it gets attention. Yeah. Right.
Got attention, right? And people would share it, comment, and then it would lead to the next sale. It was crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah, I remember seeing one where you bought your Gucci shoes. Was it, or Louis Vuitton shoes? Was that right?
Yeah. Went and bought shoes, Gucci shoes. Just look, hey, who else wants to buy Gucci shoes? You know, I just bought some.
Yeah, you started. Did you go to Tony Robbins' 60th birthday?
I did. I flew over there with a mate. That was in February of 2020, just before they started the lockdowns.
Right.
You know, in March. And they closed all the
It must have been a bit like going to the Academy Awards. I saw a clip on YouTube.
Oh, I was there. I was so close to the front. I swear to God, I saw Gerard Butler there. I saw gosh, who else was there? There was all these famous you had Pitbull was there. Gosh, I think not Alicia Keys. There was another Leona Lewis. Leonie Lewis, I think her name is, the singer. A few other big, really successful people. Oh, the billionaires there as well. You know, but yeah, just greeting with all these people. You know, I went there for 2 nights to LA. Yeah.
Wow. Now you joined. So when you joined Platinum Partners, did you empty your bank account to do that as well?
Yeah, well, that was $85K US to join. So I did that, and you only get 3 events. You get 3 events.
Yeah. But it was a goal for you, and
Oh, it's the best thing I ever did. I got coached by Tony on a few things.
Yeah. But so did you set yourself a target, and if you met that target, you would buy?
Yeah. So I was like, once I hit this amount in the bank, then I'm going to put it back out. Now, here's the thing, right? I find this interesting, that most people, when they make a little bit of money, they put it in things that depreciate in value, right? They buy the car too soon, or they buy too many clothes too soon, or they, you know, go and spend on something that they might put it in, you know, crypto, but then just know, like, if you did it in Bitcoin now, it's just dropped by 30%. So, like, you don't know. They put in things that they can't control, have no control over, or that depreciate in value. So they do things too soon. So what I did is I put all the money back into myself until I knew that I had a real clean, systemized income generating machine that was predictable and that could make money every week or month. And I knew that if I produced certain actions, it would do it, right? So I believe to build wealth, the first thing you've got to do is you've got to increase your earning capacity, right? Your earning capacity is the number one thing that will control your wealth long term, because that gives you money to invest in everything, right? So I put all the money in 2019, in the middle of the year, to a lot of money into that, investment. And I remember the first event was in August of 2019 in Amsterdam. And there I am getting personally coached on my business by Jay Abraham and Tony Robbins, right? And by that time, you sit down and you shut up. You don't say a damn thing, right? That alone was worth it. That alone, just one interaction, right? So I think that people should do that. And then once they get that, then invest in property or crypto. I do other high risk things than that now, but
okay. But it starts with the belief in yourself, because you're not going to see it as an investment if you don't believe in you. Because the personal development, a lot of people could say, oh, you a lot of people would give you the feedback as well. Like, what did that cost? What did you get out of it?
Most of your family and friends are going to think you're crazy. Like, this is the thing that bewilders me. People go ask their partners that have never ran a successful business or never generated any serious income and ask them about their investment decisions in their business. Do you think Warren Buffett is going to go speak to his wife about, oh, should we invest in this company or not? Like, no. Like, do you think they walk into a boardroom meeting like him and Charlie Munger? Oh, I'm going to ask my wife about what she thinks about her intuition on this. No. They walk in, they go, if I'm a business owner, I need to look at all the numbers. I need to look at the information. I need to make an educated choice. But I'm only going to ask people that are well-informed or that have done it themselves, right? So I think people will only take risks to the degree that they believe in themselves. So I believed that I could make more than 100 grand back from that investment. And I have, right? Multiple times over, right? And I believe that no matter what happens in my life, I will always find the way. And that's the thing your audience has got to take away too. That if you believe that no matter what happens in my life, I'm going to find the way, what would you do then? What would you act on? What would, whatever it may be. That's just, worth its weight in gold. Like to have that belief.
Yeah. Did we cover off the number one challenge that coaches face?
Oh yeah. Oh gosh, just doubting themselves, not wanting it. Doubting themselves and not wanting it enough. And focusing on what you don't want. So.
Okay. Focusing on the problem.
You focus on what you don't have. You focus on what's missing. You focus on what you can't control. If this is your pattern of focus, what you don't have, what you can't control, and what's missing, then you're going to produce emotional states that are just going to shut your nervous system down, and you're not going to take any solid action from that place.
Yeah, right. So what do you do to get yourself primed to take that action that's necessary, or what do you do to get yourself ready for that sales call when you really need the deal?
Oh gosh. Well, you've got to come in there and just say, like, I'm going to serve this person. I'm going to help this person. I'm going to solve this problem better than anybody else. And they're going to know that in their soul, and they're going to see this is so irresistible, but they have to say yes to me.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome,
but I like to move people emotionally on the sales calls. So when they give you their objections, I go,
yes,
it's on now, because only two things happen on a sales call. Either they're going to buy your unlimitedness, which is the truth, or you buy their limitations. If your solution is more valuable than the cost of their problem, then you have a duty to sell it to them, right? If their problem is costing them emotionally, whatever it is, or financially, and your solution is more valuable than that, then you got to give it to them. You got to do everything. I try to move people emotionally, right? And when
you do that and you get to the sale, you must encounter a bit of buyer's remorse.
You got to do the right amount of push and pull energy. I learned this earlier on, right? I early on I used to push like a crazy man, and some people didn't want to talk to me after that, right? I learned how not to do it. I'm like, okay, Luke, not do that, right? Before that, I was super soft. I go, oh, think about it. No worries. Let me know when you're thinking about it. All right.
Yeah.
But I was too soft. Then I was too hard. And then now I found the happy medium. I'm like, I come from a place. You must enter in the place of no need. No need, right? You want them to do it, but you don't need them to do it, right? And you got to be willing to walk away, right? I'm willing to walk away. But I come from a place, this is not for me. The sale is never not for me. Like, I don't, like, this is the thing. Like, you can't come from that place. You got to be, this is to solve their problem. I'm trying to help you. This is more valuable than parts of your problem. So, do it for you, not for me, right?
Yeah.
I've done it for me. This program has worked for me. I feel good about myself. That's how I think about it.
Yeah. So when's the business event you got coming up?
Okay. Yep. So 7-Figure Academy Business Bootcamp is July 23 to 25. And we're going to be virtual, and you can fly over here if you want. If they don't make the restrictions.
So it'd be like a hybrid event? Yep.
A hybrid event.
Yeah. And is it just for coaches, or can anyone come?
Look, anyone can come. It's for anybody that generally wants to get to 50K a month, and I'll teach you the most efficient, effective methods through organic means on social media.
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, obviously you're a LinkedIn king as well. So we teach all three ways, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's it's wherever your audience is fucking hanging out. But I mean, they're on social media, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're on social if they've definitely got a computer or a phone, so you know, most people don't post their stuff because they, post about, or they don't know how to post generally, right? But you got to learn how to do copywriting and things like that. I believe I teach that.
Where'd you learn how to copyright?
Just understanding social psychology, human psychology, how people make. I think everybody should watch something by Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett. Charlie Munger came up with it. It's called the 25 cognitive biases in the brain.
Oh yeah! Wow! Yeah. That's huge. Yeah. Fuck.
When I learned that, you can see how all your decisions are biased according to your filters in your subconscious mind.
Yeah.
You see exactly how you're sabotaging yourself. You can see so much why you do what you do as well.
Yeah. And people have a problem with this stuff because they can see it like they see it as manipulation, but it's like it's not manipulation. It's just influencing them to make the fucking decision that they wanted to make in the first place. They wouldn't be talking to you if they didn't want to make it. They wouldn't want to buy.
No, I think that manipulation is where you do something that's win-lose. I win, you lose, right?
Yeah. And
influence is where I do something, but it's win-win. I win and you win. That's how I distinguish the difference, right? You're being manipulated every day, by the way, by the news, the media, and whatnot, right?
100%.
But the influence is that, like, if it's come from a place to serve that other person and it's win-win, then it's influence. You're just trying to get from someone and it's win-lose, then it's manipulation, right? But I think I was going to say, do you know you had a bias in your brain called the uncertainty bias? So it's conditioned to avoid anything that gives you uncertainty.
To avoid anything that gives you uncertainty. Yeah. Well, I mean, I see it a lot with with marketing. It's like people like novelty, right? But like only a little bit. Like the novel will get their interest, but then it's got to be the same as everything else to back it up. It's like, I don't want it too novel. I want it too different.
That's right. And when it comes to learning tech, like if it learns the Facebook ads or Insta or something they don't know, your brain goes, I don't know how to do this. And if you're not aware of it, then your brain will shut down, right? But that's when your brain will say, I can. What if you turned every I can't into I can? And what if you turned every I can't into I must?
Oh, boom. I need one of those things on the screen that explodes. Yeah.
What if you turned every that's a tweet. What if you turned every I can't into I must?
I can't. I can, and then every I can until I must.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you must, you will find a way. You know, Tony Robbins talks about this a lot, but it's like,
it's not a must.
You know,
it's a should. Yeah, it's a should.
It's a should. Well, fucking should. I mean, I'm sorry for my language. I hope my mum's not watching, but like,
you know what, it should allow yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, because a lot of people, because I hear this a lot, like, you know, I'm not a coach, but I do, you know, help people where their business is. And one of the statements I hear a lot is, I know I should be doing this, or I know I should be doing that. And I, like, when I hear that, I don't really know what to say. I'm like, well, forget about what you should do. What are you actually doing it? And what are you actually prepared to do? Because these shoulds, they come from other people's opinions, don't they?
Well, I should, but you've got low standards in yourself because you've been conditioned. If you look at most people, why are 99% of people unhappy, broke, not fulfilled in what they're doing, or they're not doing what they love? Why is 99% of people do that? Is because you've been conditioned to have low, shitty standards. When you grow up in school, if they say it's too hard, or you don't do that well, they give you a participation award. That you get rewarded in society for being average. They'll still give you a job. You'll still, like, this is crazy. Like, you'll still get a job. You'll still, you know, most people in relationship will settle for some average, shitty relationship, right? You'll still keep your partner, probably hold on to them, you know, for a lot of people in most cases, right? But for, you know, most people will tolerate it. Like, you tolerate shitty standards because if you look around, your friends and your family got low, crappy standards. Like, I've been up since 7 a.m. It's 9 p.m. soon. I'm going to the gym after this.
I might have to as well.
I'm going to the gym after this. I'm not tolerating this shitty standards. Like, raise your standards. Stop tolerating shit from yourself. And I say to myself, like, I'm not a little bitch. I'm a savage. I'm an animal. I'm a fucking warrior. I'm a boss. Whatever it has to be. Like, start giving yourself identities that will cause you to take action. And, you know, raise your standards. Your life is a result of that, right? If you just made one decision and you kept to it for a long enough time, you would see a business. You would see success. You would see it.
Yeah. Man, we're blowing up in the comments.
Crazy. I can't look at all these amazing people. Thank you so much for watching.
Patience, how are you? Bless.
Oh,
Brock.
My videographer. He is a king. Brock does all my social media.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, been with me, a couple of years now. Longest employee. Yeah. Well, like, I just want to say, sorry, shout out to Brock. But like at school, like I found that, like, when I look back on it, I did all right at school, but like, I remember a lot of people telling me what I can't do. Like, you can't do this, you can't do that, and I kind of still hear it from a lot of people, but like, it's taken a lot of personal development. It's been the only thing that's gotten me to a point where it's like, well, fucking, why not? Like, you know, you get in trouble growing up, so obviously you get conditioned that way. But it's taken me long way to get to. No, I think why not? Why can't I? And I feel very different to most of the people around me because of that mindset. But yeah, is that why you want to homeschool your kids? Yeah, well, pretty much. Like, I might offend people or something by what I say, but basically, like, you know, wherever they are, like, you just want to be able to influence your kids more than another person that's not helping them to become the best version of themselves. And some people do it consciously or unconsciously, right? But, you know, I think that, you know, you want to be able to influence other people to be the best they can be, you know, as best you can. And, you know, I grew up in school, and, you know, like many of us, we, like, you know, experienced bullying, experience, you know, being told that you can't do things, you know, you learn things you learn in school. I don't know, like it's built from a 19th century model, and we're living in the 21st century. They're replacing everything with AI. Uber's going to be gone, actually. Well, they're going to replace it with self-driving cars, right?
Yeah.
You know, they're going to replace McDonald's workers with robotics and AI. A lot of things are going to be replaced with robotics and AI. So, you know, you've got to be doing what you love, right? So
Bernice thinks we're funny. I could take a screenshot of this. Oh, thanks, Bernice.
Of my dating profile.
Yeah, in inverted commas.
help me out.
All right. Well, Luke, I know you got to go pump those beautiful guns of yours, mate. So
I'm working on it. Yep.
Thanks so much for your time, man. You've given us. If people are spending $2,000 for an hour of your time, I feel very blessed that you've spent an hour of your time with us. Thanks very much for being here. You're making a huge impact.
Let's acknowledge Nat Bibby. He is a king. Give some love to Nat Bibby. Shout out to Nat, who is an absolute living legend, right? I've got to say this. I've meet and greet.
Stop it.
Oh yeah, I know. I meet a lot of people in the self-development world, and I want to take this gift from me that you are a genuine, heart-centered being, and you go out there and you generally go out and serve people, and you know what you're doing for people and how you've got to where you are right now is super inspiring, my friend. And I love doing this with you, and you know, mate, you always make me laugh. So I want to say big shout out to Nat Bibby.
Hell yeah. All the people watching that are coming on in the next few weeks, I want you to take notes. That's how you end a Monday Night Live.
How you else end them, but you thank your person that they help you to serve other people, right? So
Yeah.
Nat is a legend, and I will one day see you in Perth or Sydney, right?
Yeah, man.
Hopefully.
Sounds good, brother.
Yeah.